Good morning. Today is the 28th of October. It is a Monday in the year 2019. Now, I want to talk about something today. It's a little different than my normal. And of course, as always, I am Christopher from Forklift Theology. But we're not going to talk about theology today. We're going to talk about games. Well, unless you've been hiding out under a rock somewhere where you have just no interest whatsoever in it. There's been a lot of controversy lately with a particular Bethesda title. Now, maybe you've already figured it out, but I'm going to show you. Fallout 76. Yes, I play it. I love it. I think it's a great game. But, people are unhappy. I'm not surprised. People have been unhappy with Fallout 76 pretty much since it was launched. And yes, it had some issues at launch. Does that make it a bad game? No. What makes it a bad game is actually the player base, more than anything else. Negative players always ruin the game. Let me put it like this. If I had chosen, because of watching other people play the game, to not play it, there's so much about the game I would have missed. It is a much bigger game than what most people who put videos on YouTube like to show. And the fact is, there is a whole segment of gamers out there who absolutely, positively hate the Fallout franchise as a whole. And I think it's because they feel threatened. You see, Fallout 76 is a unique game. It pits you, that is, you, in the middle of post-apocalypse West Virginia. Not some lone wanderer, not sole survivor. And you're not wandering Tamriel or some fantasy world. You don't have the ability to cause fire out of your hands. Nope. Instead, you're exploring a world that is uniquely familiar and uniquely alien. And the Fallout series has always been that way. Bethesda, for the most part, when it comes to locations, they've done a good amount of research on the areas where the games take place. We try to get the looks of the buildings and the roads right. Now, one of my gripes with Fallout 76 is the map. It's wrong. Morgantown is actually, from what I've seen of every map of West Virginia, north of Grafton. Though for whatever reason, in 76, Grafton is north of Morgantown. And more importantly, Suffolk, West Virginia doesn't exist on the map. And yet, in the Appalachia radio in the game, it's there. Does this ruin the game for me? Nope. I can live with inconsistencies in a map. After all, Fallout 76 also, as is the totality of the franchise, Fallout, not in our necessarily historic timeline. But that, again, doesn't make it a bad game. A negative player base ruins a game more than anything else. And in gaming, there are always talks of toxic communities. The most openly toxic community is actually EVE Online, which, yeah, I play that too. Now, my focus, though, is really Fallout 76. And particularly, one issue. And I have no issue with it. Now, before I go too much further, let's understand a couple of things. First of all, for an MMO of any sort, It doesn't matter if it's Fallout 76, EVE Online, EverQuest, Black Desert Online, D&D Online. It doesn't matter. Games have to change. They have to adapt. They have to adapt to the times, That is to say, what is the world like in which we really live? And that adaptation includes hardware. And hardware is expensive. And also has to adapt to how the players change. The way you and I might play a particular game today, and how you and I might play that same game in 5, 10 years, could be radically different. Indeed, it's actually quite common to have a player start a game playing one type of character, and for one reason or other, they decide they're going to change their character build. They're going to change how they play, because they think it fits better for them. Everyone does this, even me. Now, that said, change is costly. And it's going to upset people. No good game company would deny this. The problem is striking a balance between what's cost-effective and what's going to be best for the players. That is, what do the players want? And sometimes you're not going to get the balance you really want. It's almost impossible, because players are humans. Humans are evil, greedy creatures who want what they want, and they really don't care about anyone else most of the time. And that brings us to the issue. Now, Bethesda recently released Fallout 76 first. The concept here is very simple. You pay a subscription fee, kind of like EVE Online in its early days, and even how EVE Online plays now, in which you have your Omega clone status. You pay a monthly subscription for it. Bethesda offers you the option of paying about $13 a month US or $100 a year US for this status of Fallout 76 first. This gives you a private server, an unlimited scrap box, and a tent that you can literally put anywhere on the map as an extra fast travel point. The scrap box and the tent actually work both in adventure mode and private world mode. In private world, you can have, if I've read right, up to 8 of your friends playing with you. Now, for me personally, it doesn't fit my playstyle, so I personally don't need it. But there are those out there who it's what they've wanted: a private server, an unlimited scrap box, and a place to have an extra free fast travel. Okay, I get it. Cool, that works for you. I'm happy for you. Really, I am. But it doesn't work for me because it's not my playstyle. And that's where the haters come in. The truth of the matter is, you're going to have people who nothing you do is going to make them happy. They're angry about things that they can't control. And they're angry because they can't control it. The haters, they want the private servers for free. They want the unlimited stash box for free. Nope. Bethesda's not going to do it. And honestly, I don't blame them. Servers cost money. Upgrading RAM to increase server capacity costs money. Upgrading hard drives to increase server capacity costs money. Internet connections, that is, connecting the server to the internet, costs money. IT guys, programmers, network specialists cost money. And nobody wants to work for free. Did you get that last part? Nobody wants to work for free. Now, nobody's forcing you to pay for the private server. Nobody's forcing you to pay a monthly subscription fee to play in terms of Fallout 76. In fact, EVE Online dropped the "you have to pay if you want to play" model years ago. And that brought more players in, many of whom now pay to play. That's fine. Let them. That keeps the servers running. Nobody's forcing you to buy the special currency in Fallout 76, that is atoms. Though buying atoms does help to keep the servers running. But no one's forcing you to do any of that. And indeed, if you don't think you want to play Fallout 76, nobody's forcing you to buy the game to begin with. But if you want to complain about Fallout 76 and you've never played the game, and all you've seen is other people playing it, you have no business complaining. None. It's really that simple. Now, I saw all the negativity when Fallout 76 came out. The anger, the frustration. But I'm not letting other people's emotions get to me. I wanted to see it for myself. Now, the price for the game has gone down since then, but I paid the $55 for the game itself. As you saw the game case, so it is. I have the game, and I've played it. I still play it. I've done pretty much everything you can do at this point in the game. And I'm looking forward to the Wastelanders expansion. Have I bought atoms? Yeah, a couple times. But then again, like I said, that helps keep the servers running. So what did I get by buying and playing it myself? I got an honest look at the game. I got to see the game from the viewpoint of me, myself, playing it. And I learned a little bit. First of all, it's not nearly as bad as all these YouTubers made it out to be. In fact, I'm convinced that most of them, they bought the game so they could make bad videos on it to dissuade anyone else from buying it, because they wanted it to be a massive flop. They wanted it to be the next No Man's Sky before patches. No Man's Sky has become quite the game. Now, I'm not willing to pay for the PlayStation Network access so that I can play the multiplayer of it. But from what I've heard, it's actually really awesome. And I've played No Man's Sky as well, and it is, in fact, a very good game. It is hard. Brutally hard, but it is a good game. But it's not brutal to the point of punishing. So, Fallout 76, yes, it had a rough start. And Bethesda has had to rethink some of its original plans for the game, including the fact that initially there were just not supposed to be any human NPCs. And that's what the Wastelanders expansion is going to do, add the human NPCs. And the reason they're doing it is because the community failed. Yes, they failed. You see, Bethesda's plan for Fallout 76 was to create a player experience game. They want players to team up, work together, or not, as the case often proved to be, to rebuild West Virginia, to create a society. But just about every player out there, it would seem, is on their own. And they seem to prefer it that way. Everyone's in it for themselves. What about me? Yeah, what about me? I'm not really in it for myself. I help others where I can. if there's an event going on, whether or not I have an interest in it, personally, if there's a bunch of people involved, I'll join in to help them out. Otherwise, my gameplay these days revolves around giving ammunition and medical supplies to new players, and being literally the cheapest vendor in the wasteland. Yeah, player vending was another issue that got people upset. When they released the vending machines, and they did that because players were complaining about not being able to get rid of stuff, being over-encumbered 99% of the time. They had player vending so that players could sell stuff to one another. And it helped. After all, the vendor bots in the game, once you sell it to them, they jack up the price big time. But the player vending, I'm the cheapest that I've seen so far in the Wasteland in that game. Everything I sell is 20 caps or less, and usually less. My most expensive items will be power armor pieces when I have them. And those go for 15 caps each, no matter what they are. Recipes and plans, typically 5 caps or less. Because my gameplay is to help others. Whether it's by giving them access to things that would be otherwise overly expensive, or by directly giving them things to help improve their quality of life in the wasteland, such as ammunition, stim packs, and RadAway. And to that end, like I said, the private servers really don't work for me, because my gameplay involves interacting as much as possible with other players, especially new players, that is, level 10 and below. Once you get to about level 10, that's when you can really start to take off and really delve into the game and into the various areas. Up to about level 10, you really are going to have a hard time. And I've tried this with a couple of different characters, so yeah, up until level 10, the game's going to be rather hard. You're not necessarily going to have the type of equipment to really take on the type of enemies you're going to encounter. Does that mean you can't do it at level 10 and below? Absolutely not. The game's playable even at that level. You're just going to have a harder time than someone who's at level, say, 15, level 20. And the fact is, all weapons max out at level 50 anyway. I'm kind of on the lower end tier anyways for levels. I'm only at level 91 right now. And yet, I've seen players with level 300, 400, 500 out there. But I assure you, every single one of them, their highest level weapon's probably going to be a level 50. And that was one thing Bethesda did that helped to even the odds. All weapons have a max level. Fallout 76 is a good game. You don't have to take my word for it. But then again, I'm just one voice. A myriad of people have been spouting literally hate since the game first began a little over a year ago. I started playing it probably around the third, fourth month the game was released. So I missed some of the early on garbage. The early bugs. There's still bugs in the game. There's always going to be. Programmers are human. They make mistakes. But a responsible community will report the bugs. A responsible community will provide constructive feedback and not merely harsh, negative criticism. Now, I'm expecting in this video I'm going to get burned by a few people, especially some of you YouTubers who stream games regularly and have gone out of your way to make videos showing how awful Fallout 76 can be. I don't stream games. I don't really have an interest in doing a video of me playing a game. It's not worth my time. I'm doing this video just to try and clear the air about a couple things. And to make some valid points about the game. Point 1. Nobody's going to force you to buy Fallout 76 to play it. That's totally on you. Point 2. Nobody's going to force you to buy the special currency, that is atoms, for cosmetic items that are available through the Atom Shop. And the purchase of said atoms help to keep the servers running. Point 3. Nobody is paying, well, not that people aren't paying, it's that nobody's forcing you to pay for the private servers. And that too keeps the servers running. Nobody likes to work for free. Fallout 76 is turning into one of those games where, quite frankly, it is indeed a worthy title in the Fallout series. Though there is one little error Bethesda has made, besides the map. And that is the mode known as, quote, nuclear winter. Bethesda, if you're watching, would you please do yourself a favor and look up what nuclear winter really is? Fallout 76, which is your product, takes place 25 years after the bombs have fallen. That means it takes place approximately 20 years after nuclear winter has ended. Nuclear winter being a 5-year period in which the Earth has gotten colder because of all the radiation and dust in the air, and which scientists estimate takes between 5 and 10 years to finally settle. The entirety of the Fallout franchise at this point, as all the Fallout games thus far, takes place in what is nuclear summer. Your nuclear winter battle mode really is better off being called something else. Maybe, I don't know, survival mode? Seeing as you so conveniently removed that from the game to make way for the private servers. And quite frankly, I like the survival mode being there. It gave a lot of players who wanted to goad others into PvP a place to go where they could do that. Because most of us in adventure mode, we're more interested in playing against the environment. Because the environment can be just as, if not in times, more deadly than the humans who are playing in the game too. Now if you want a true nuclear winter mode, Bethesda, why not create a new title? Fallout. Nuclear Winter. And let that be the first 5 to 10 years after the bombs. Played from the viewpoint not of a vault dweller of any sort. Rather, let it be the viewpoint of someone who lived through the bombs and is forced to live in the world after the bombs. And let that be a single-player game. Because that seems to be what a lot of players are asking for now, too. Is another single-player Fallout type. I'm Christopher from Forklift Theology, offering my comments and opinions about the video game by Bethesda, known as, and I quote, Fallout 76. Have a good day.